to run any practice on their race engines because of the happy hour being canceled. So a lot of these guys are worried right now that they put these race engines in the first lap on these motors or right now today.
On board with Robbie Gordon. 31 car last time by was in the 9th position. And that's, we see the 24 car, Jeff Gordon. He and Jimmy Johnson, the pole sitter, put their race engines in on Tuesday and ran them a few laps just to verify they were okay. And after happy hours rained out on Saturday, that looks like a stroke of genius.
And if you're not familiar with the NASCAR term happy hour, that's the term for the final practice before the race.
And you remember we were talking to Tony Stewart yesterday during the Busch race, and I asked him, Tony, you got any laps on that race motor? He said, no, we don't, and we're a little bit worried about that. Hey, Dave, you got Tony down there?
We have caught up with Tony now, and Tony, he told us he had no laps on that race motor. Did that worry you going in?
It's never worried me. I mean, I've got the utmost confidence in our motor department at Joe Gibbs Racing, and you know, whatever happened was a freak deal. The part that makes me feel bad is there's so many of these guys that you see behind us that have worked all winter to get this car done, and their families and their wives and their kids have been letting their dads and their husbands go to work and work 10, 12-hour days to try to get this car where it was this week. And you know, I told them right before the race started, I go, no matter what happens, guys, you guys gave us a very, very good race car here, and you know, it's a tough way to start the year, but I feel worse for the guys than anything because they've poured their hearts and souls into making this car what it is.
That's the word right there. Tough. Very tough way for Tony to start. He was a favorite, guys.
And we use the Super Bowl analogy, and Tony Stewart's season started out just like a quarterback throwing an interception on the first series.
It's a little better than last year's exit of the race, I guess, where he ran in contention and then got taken out on a big wreck at the end of the day. I don't know.
Yeah, it's better not to rack out.
Yeah. Fourth, make it fifth place here. Mike Skinner in the gold car getting shuffled out. Sterling Marlin is up under him. 97 car is Kurt Busch. Las Vegas youngster moving into sixth. Jerry Nadeau to seventh. There's Ken Schrader racing Skinner for eighth. Schrader down low.
And look how quickly that these guys start falling back as soon as they get side by side. Schrader goes by now. Robbie Gordon follows. Here comes John Andretti. Kenny Wallace. And look at Craven in the middle. Wally, that's not worked too well, but he gets by Todd Bodine in the 66. And Rusty Wallace is going to try the middle.
Oh, boy, he slid that right there in front of that Kmart car. Wow.
So Ricky Craven continues to move forward after starting last. He's up to 14th, and Jeff Gordon, he slides back. He started third. He's fallen back to 13th spot. The Daytona 500 is underway. Caution-free so far, but Tony Stewart is already out of it. 44-acre Lake Lloyd shimmering in the Florida sunshine in the infield of the Daytona International Speedway as 41 drivers pursue victory in the Great American Race. NBC Sports with live coverage of the Daytona 500, 16 laps in. Let's check our lows, improvers, and snoozers, those moving up in the early going, including 3 Ford drivers.
Rusty Wallace, we said start 37th. Ashley started about 43rd, has moved up to 12th. Kenseth, great run going so far, and Ricky Craven.
And some of the snoozers, drivers slipping back.
Tony Stewart obviously has to lead that group with an engine problem. Jimmy Johnson, our pole sitter, back to 26th.
No change on the leaderboard. Michael Waltrip still out in front with Dale Earnhardt Jr. second. And let's go to pit road. Here's Dave Burns.
Alan, the driving, the racing is a little bit different here at Daytona this year, and a lot more guys are using rear view mirrors to do their driving. Now, these little things are about 2 or 3 inch convex mirrors that they mount to the window post just on driver's left. It helps them look behind them, but the drivers who don't use them, and there's at least a dozen who don't have them on their car today, call them blocking mirrors. They don't like them. Wally, did you ever use a mirror like this and block someone?
Well, I've blocked someone for sure, but I've never used a mirror. And Dave, I think he's actually absolutely right. They put those mirrors on there to look to see when a guy is coming up and getting a run. When he sees a guy in that mirror coming up real fast, you throw the block. At a race like this, you look through the rear view mirror as much as you do the windshield. Wouldn't you agree, BP?
I agree wholeheartedly, and again, that's what they are, blocking mirrors, nothing else but.
Can't believe you didn't have one on your go-kart helmet the other night. You were blocking all over the place.
Didn't need to. I was out front.
Yeah.
Didn't need it.
About to complete 50 miles of this race as Michael Waltrip crosses the start-finish line with the race lead. Waltrip has led all but the first 3 circuits of the event. Kevin Harvick paced those. Look at the running order on top of the screen, and what we've seen now that we've put 50 miles in and you put those laps on these sets of tires is the race is thinning out.
Yeah, it's gone Indian file, hasn't it, Alan? And as I said, I'm real interested to see what happens with the Fords right now, because without that little extra rear spoiler, yes, it makes their cars a little bit faster, but it takes a little bit of downforce away. Downforce, let me try to explain it real quick. It's like if I'm sitting on a bicycle and Benny's sitting next to a bicycle, Benny's bicycle is going to get into that racetrack a lot better than mine. It's got more downforce, and that's what we're talking about downforce.
I resemble that remark. Matt, what's going on with the 15 car?
Well, Benny, while Michael Waltrip continues to lead, one of the main reasons why he went to the front, his car was running a little warm. The water temperature was starting to climb, so he went to the front to get some clean air, not the turbulent warm air, to try to cool that water down a little bit. He says his car is just a tick loose, just like the twin 125 qualifiers on Thursday. Bill?
Matt, at the beginning of this race, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson both had good starting positions, but once they threw the green flag, they didn't have any friends. So when the field started moving forward, no one would help the 24 or the 48. They've fallen back in the pack. Gordon just radioed in, "I've lost the draft." He told his crew a few minutes ago, "The car is tight. I'll just have to ride for now." He's waiting for the pack to catch him from behind. As for the car he co-owns and our rookie pole sitter, Jimmy Johnson, he's getting tremendous encouragement over the radio, but his car is also tight. Chad Knaus just told him, "Do your best. We'll fix it when we pit."
Wow. Dale Jr.'s in trouble. Turn 2.
Right front tire looks like it may have come apart. Definitely came apart.
Caution is out. Another contender fallen by the wayside early.
And Tony Uri Sr., the crew chief, is telling his crew what to do.
And that is just ripping that car apart.
It does so much damage if you have oil lines or brake lines or anything. That is just like a big old whip going through there and tearing everything apart.
Michael Waltrip.
Run over top or what?
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s radio. Michael Waltrip has led the field back to the caution and makes behind the pace car.
There's Tony. You got a little bit more than the fender.
Yeah, you got the hood, part of the door, part of the nose of the car.
Probably some of the firewall.
And what of the suspension underneath it? Here's what happened to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Watch as we go down in turn 1. Junior's the second car, and all of a sudden, the right front just lets go, just goes flat.
And I'll tell you what, if it's going to go flat, that's the best place on this racetrack to go down. Normally, we see the right front tires go down right when you're in the center of the corner, and you hit the wall hard. He was real lucky there.
Another shot, you see the car wiggle, you see Harvick dive to the inside, and Junior wisely goes up high on the racetrack, getting out of everyone's way.
On board, Michael Waltrip. Oh, what was that?
There's debris on the racetrack, and that's probably what cut the right front tire on Earnhardt's car. Matt?
Benny, Michael Waltrip came on the radio and said, either something fell off my car or I ran over something, and that something is exactly what Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran over, so we probably need to pit just to check our tires as well. Marty.
Dale Jr. did think he ran over something, Matt. He said he thought he felt something, and that's what caused the right front to go down. This is such a heartbreak for these guys. He was having fun in the race car, very reminiscent of his father, who had such bad luck in this race so many times. He came in as a favorite. It will end in disappointment.